Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a Best of Scarlett compilation from Nation Wars 2019. She's representing her nation of Canada. Alright, so game number 1 is on World of Sleepers. It's going to be Scarlett versus Nice. Top right hand corner is the blue Protoss player hailing from Chinese Taipei, otherwise known as Taiwan. It is Nice. And in the bottom left, sporting the color red, is Scarlett. All right, so a ZVP to start us off here today. Overlord scouting, no drone scouting, no professional Zerg's drone scout. And I've had it explained to me this way. If you drone scout, then you're behind a tiny bit in the mid-game, and they would rather die to cheese that they haven't scouted than be behind every single game. And I can't argue with that logic. Hatch gas pool here from Scarlett, no big deal. Gateway expand here from Nice. Very, very standard stuff here, you guys. If you're struggling with StarCraft, just do what the pros do, right? Just do what the pros do in your early game, and that is a good step to take. Take it from Falcon Paladin. Let's see how quickly she saturates this gas. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so real fast. Some players like Raynor like to saturate it kind of slowly here. Just one drone, and then when another one hatches, send it onto the extractor, and then when another one hatches, send it there as well. But Scarlett here is basically wanting to get that gas as soon as possible. And the Overlord Scout still isn't quite sure what's going on from Nice here, but you could throw down a hatch here, Scarlett. You have enough money. You have enough money, but if you want your 2 queens and speed, then I understand that as well. And there we go, Queen 1 and Queen 2 way over here at the 3rd base, which should be the natural base, but the probe block was real. And there's the Queen. And when I say Queen, I mean there's a Queen. Scarlett, come on. Help us out. There we go. There's the Queen. And here's the block on the attempt here as well. Are you serious? Just Maynarding over here to the 3rd base, no big deal. We'll let Lings handle this. This 3rd base is kind of ridiculously late for a Zerg. I don't like it. I really don't like this at all. And then another drone comes down, throws down the hatch. Are you going 2 base? Are you trying to make the probe think you're going for 3 bases and you're not? This is interesting. A 2-basing Zerg is much different from a 3-basing Zerg, and there's the 3rd base. Okay, so for a second there, I was kind of worried for Nice, but so far, so good. There's really nothing Scarlett can do to kill him anytime soon. If he had, if she'd been saving up for like a ton of Zerglings or a Baneling bust or something. We've seen that work on the channel recently. We did a bunch of short games from Home Story Cup last week, and one of those was a Baneling bust, and it just straight up murdered somebody. I want to say it was, was it Trap or Stats or someone just had a really bad time because they didn't know a Baneling bust was coming, and it totally was. So double Adept trying to cruise on over. We've got a Queen here. We've got a couple Zerglings. This is a 2 Adept opening, though. There are not enough Zerglings here to dissuade them from finishing that transfer, and here we go. Drones have to... Oh... That drone almost down. The Lings are showing up. They don't have speed yet. Actually, do they? They totally do. I'm not familiar with the skin these Zerglings have. Come here, Zerglings. You are so fast. Stop running for a second. I want to look at you. They've got like spots on their backs. Oh, they get one of the Adepts? What is this skin? I don't know what it is. I'm unfamiliar with it. There are just so many skins these days in StarCraft, y'all. Can't keep up. Cannot keep up with my 3 brain cells. Scarlett is somehow oversaturated on gas on her main base, which is very odd, but it's cool. Otherwise, she is droning up. She's making extra queens, which I really love. She's spreading creep as well as she can. And the Protoss player's got a Warp Prism out and Immortals. So he's going to go for some style of an Immortal Sentry deal, it looks like, with some Warp Prism support here. Off of 2 bases, which can be pretty darn scary, but it does seem like Scarlett has a pretty good scout on this. Sees the Warp Prism at the very least. And this is going to warp in what? What buildings do we have? We have no ability to make Archons or Dark Templar, that's for sure. So at this stage, could probably warp in Zealots, I guess, but doesn't have charge on those guys either. Either way, the Queens are going to get some free shots off on that Warp Prism, which is bad for the Warp Prism. You don't want to go in there. Hey, no free shots at all. Warp Prism just retreats, and that's a win for Scarlett regardless. Cannot be arguing with that. Creep spreading continuing to happen here. Really should go for a 3rd here. Nice. Oh, that's all the gateways, though. All right, man. We're 2 basing it. We have some plans to win this game with a big, scary Protoss push that we have seen win before on the channel recently against really good Zerg players. Higher ranked Zerg players than Scarlett, that's for sure. So if you don't want to go late game versus Zerg, which most people don't these days, go for these little mid-game pushes. And it is 5 minutes, but it definitely counts as a mid-game play here. He doesn't have charge. No, there's no charge. There's no Twilight Council. This is slow Zealots and Stalkers and Immortals and Sentries. What a weird build. All right, man. Weird timings. Can catch players off base here. Trying to get that surround. Trying to get the Oracles. Picking up the Oracles. Saving them alive. Nice, actually, Corrosive Bile. Queen's just standing in here and doing more damage than they have any right to do. Corrosive Bile lands. The Immortal's still alive. It's already got 5 kills to his name. Armor supply is definitely higher for Scarlett here. But again, the Queen's count, and they're not the best units against these ground forces. Really good at keeping the Warp Prism away, though. Cannot argue with you on that one. 10 more Lings in production. I think Lings should be able to handle this. This isn't a ton of Zealots, nor do they have incredible upgrades either. So just trying to dance, trying to inject, trying to do as much as you can here, because his Nice is not expanding, and Nice is definitely all-inning here. Scarlett just needs to make units. No more drones required. She's already up 43 to 38 workers on 3 bases to 2. She just needs to be able to hold this, and she's got it. 1. I keep looking over on that side of Nice's map, and Nice's side of the map, rather, and seeing if he's going for a third base, and he's not. It's just, wow, going home. The Warp Prism trying to get in here, but the Queens are just in perfect position for that Warp Prism to get on out of there and go home. Transfusing the Queens. The Warp Prism goes down. And that is the time to retreat and just abject shame here. Nice. Just abject shame. The Zealots want to get out the front door, but they can't because there's a pylon blocking it. I think, can they squeeze through now? It looks like they can. The Immortal, though, also can. I thought the Immortal was too fat to get through there. It's cool. Immortal's fine. Nice says, don't worry about it. Army supply, 50 to 32. A lot of Zealots, though. Charges on the way. But, again, this is the patch where the Zealots do not do bonus damage on attack. So I'm not sure that their charge lots even really matter. Dude, that's a free Immortal. I'm not kidding. Okay. Not interested in getting the free Immortal. Gonna let that get into the battle. Really wants to go after probes instead, which, you know, okay. Can understand that. Can totally understand that here. Roach and Ravager, good against the Zealots, but if the Immortals start hacking on you, that's not a good thing. 7 probes have gone down, and all the mining at Nice's main base is out. I think this is it for game 1 for Nice, you guys. He can't lose 7 probes here. He can't lose this Artosis Pylon either. Oh my gosh, he's going to lose this Artosis Pylon. What's it going to depower? Robotics facility and 4 warp gates is what it is. The engagement at the front going fairly well for Nice, though, but that's it. He taps out. Scarlett gets the win. He knew he was down in economy. He knew he was down in base count. He knew he lost those warp gates and the robotics facility, and he tapped right on out. So Scarlett gets a nice little 1 next to her name there. Nice gets a 0. We're not going to a particular number here. We're just going to keep track of how many games Scarlett wins against the competition here at Nation Wars. So, fantastic game. Really, really enjoyed that one. I mean, it was pretty darn cost efficient from Scarlett, too. Only lost 2,000 resources to the 4,000 that Nice did. She was just able to scout the Warp Prism and the lack of a third base, and she just made Lings, Ravagers. Did she not lose any Roaches or Ravagers? Holy smokes. She had 15 Roaches and 5 Ravagers at the end of the game and didn't lose any of them. No Queens died either. Jeez. Yeah, you can't beat a Zerg player if you don't kill anything but a bunch of Zerglings and, like, a drone. Yeah, that's not going to happen for you. So nice job there. Scarlett, game 1 gets the victory. Let's move into game number 2. It's going to be Special and Scarlett, Mexico versus Canada. Battle of North American players. Bottom right-hand corner, not Canner, is the Blue Terran player Special. And in the top left, it is the Red Zerg player Scarlett once again. I wonder if she requests to be red all the time. Because, you know, her name is Scarlett, which is another name for red in the English language. I checked out my statistics on YouTube, and apparently only 20% of the views that I get here are from the United States. Which is still the largest slice of the pie, but last time I checked, I think it was closer to 40 or 50%. So, Falcon Paladin going international. No proxy here from Special. Hatch firsting here at 16 supply is Scarlett. Special has had a better year than Scarlett here. So I kind of want to put my money here on Special, but once again, the current narrative is that Zerg is overpowered. So we'll see how it stacks up here versus Special. Man, he is so good at multitasking. He loves opening up Banshees just to keep the Zerg on their toes while he pushes up in the front or at the third base. I don't know. I kind of feel like Scarlett can handle that, but we will have to see. Okay, he's going to open up here. Let's see if he's going to open up a Reaper. And yes, he will. Reaper name is Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear here. I am stationed in the Gamma Quadrant, Sector 4, as an elite universe protection unit of the Space Ranger Corps. I protect the galaxy from the evil Emperor Zurg, a sworn enemy of the Galactic Alliance. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things, too, is that Emperor Zurg exists way after StarCraft had come out. Just one letter spelling in there. I'm trying to remember. There was a bit of a kerfluffle there. I think some of the attorneys were like, we can't have an enemy named Zurg. That's just like in StarCraft. But then it went ahead anyway. They might have changed some of the spelling in it to make it a little less confrontational that way. But regardless, look at this. Scarlett not going for that third hatch. Maybe again, she didn't go for the third hatch before the second hatch was finished, is what I'm trying to say. That's what matters here. Is the builds I like to do and the build we like to see out of players like Rogue, you go for that third hatch even before your second hatch is done. And SCVs will win that fight all the livelong day, but the drone will generate energy too, or health rather. Ah, down to 1 HP. That was some Gosu maneuvering from Scarlett. She knew exactly how long she had to wait to retrieve and recover as much health as she needed to win that fight with exactly 1 HP, and she gets the base down. That's incredible. Meanwhile, Buzz Lightyear trying to get stuff done. It does have 2 kills. What? Golly, got a drone kill while that shenanigan was happening. I guess Scarlett was maybe a little bit too concerned about getting that third base down and wasn't watching out for the Reaper too closely. I definitely was not. That Reaper ends up getting some more stuff done than we'd expect it to, I guess, in a general StarCraft game, but it's Special, man. Special is good at this game. He's good at Terran. And as a result, he got that kill. Whee! KDA charge, knocking that queen back. We indeed. Marine production, Hellion production, factory production. I'd like to point out that Special did not go for the SCV scout. Oh, we did. Never mind. Duh, it died. So you got to do that, Terran players. I mean, this is a public service announcement. Against Zurg, you either have to drone or SCV scout and see the timing on the hatchery. Was it a hatch first? Is it almost done or already done? If that's the case, then you can bring the Reaper over. But if this is not almost done, then you keep the Reaper at home because there are lings coming to destroy your command center at the natural base. That's what you have to do. You can gamble. You can absolutely gamble if you want and just send the Reaper out and not send the SCV scout out, but then you're going to lose your natural and you're going to feel bad about it. So that is your public service announcement. Meanwhile, there's a fusion core on the way back home here for Special. So probably going to open at least 1 battle cruiser. It's really up to the Terran players how many battle cruisers they want to make in any given situation and any given game. But Overlord does scout in. Did she end up seeing? No, she got rebuffed. But again, Cloak. Ah, hang on a second. She was going Cloak Banshee, or maybe she just wanted. Oh, maybe he just wanted Scarlett to think that it was Cloak Banshee and then canceled, and then went for the battle cruiser. Oh yes, let the mind games commence. I mean, the response to a Cloaked Banshee versus a battle cruiser are pretty much the same thing. It's a bunch of queens and a spore in each mineral line. That's all we're looking for here. This bit of harassment, really not getting a lot done. Kind of just threatening and trying to keep the creep from spreading too much. But the queens are going from place to place. Creep spread is helping with that immensely. And it's going to be a bunch of Hellions here. Is he going mech? He hasn't quite decided yet. That's a pretty fast armory, though. Is this a Hellbat battlecruiser push? Dang, those are good. Those are really strong. It forces the Zerg player to have either Banelings out or Roaches out. Queens can't hang with that. At least not from what I've seen. Overlord trying to scout. Oh, Marines taking that sucker down, too. So the Hellions are not going to YOLO in there. They're not going to YOLO in because they need to change into Hellbats. That is my theory on this game right now. Look at that. Oh, cancel the tumor. Put it down again. This is not the latest patch. But it's a fairly late patch. Is he YOLOing the Hellions in? Dude, I thought we had a deal. Okay, well. A bunch of these Hellions die. Not all. I mean, most of them are dead. That one's definitely dead, too. Good crap. Okay, so all the Hellions die. The battlecruiser jumps over as a distraction. Well, taking advantage of the Hellions' distraction. And is basically getting rebuffed by these queens. So that didn't go super well, I would say, here from Special. What's he moving into here? That's another factory. Holy smokes. Is he going mech? I don't know about going mech versus Zerg, although I am somewhat more converted towards it as I watched Innovation beat Rogue at Africa World 51, which I live cast with Laugh-In Games over on AfricaTV.com, Which, by the way, if you're missing those, you should come watch them. It is my one opportunity every couple of weeks to cast seriously amazing live StarCraft. Again, Innovation versus Rogue, best of 5. That's what we're talking about here. And one of the games, Innovation went mech and he totally won, and I did not feel good about it at all from Innovation's perspective, but he totally made it work. I mean, it was basically a ton of Thors and Hellbats and tanks, and Rogue went for Swarm Host to try to clear it out, but he couldn't make good trades. I don't know. I feel like Rogue made some mistakes, but at the same time, he won. So, I mean, how? Wow. Oh, yeah, that's before that 1 second of vulnerability, too. So, again, not latest patch. 4 HP Battlecruiser with 8 kills. Getting repaired up. Yes, Terran players, repair your units. 4th base on the way from Scarlett. 3rd base already landed and is being mined from by Special. He's got a bit of a lead here economically because of that. Lings and Queens, man. Lings and Queens. I guess there are some roaches from Scarlett now, too. Now, what you can do against a meching Terran is kind of get in there before they get ramped up. Try to kill him with a big old Roach Ravager attack. I've seen that work before, but if you don't do that and they get ramped up, then suddenly you're dealing with large mech armies moving out onto the map and ruining your day. So Corruptors in production, Baneling Nest on the way, Infestation Pit on the way, working on ranged attack upgrades, which makes me feel like a Roach Ravager style opening. At least a response to what we're seeing here. And I don't know, do you need that many Corruptors to deal with the one battle cruiser? As it really doesn't seem like Special is going for any more than that. Is this Race Car Mech? Hold on, I've not seen Race Car Mech in a hot minute. Nah, this is just one of those weird varieties of mech, of which there are like a billion, where it's going to be Cyclones with Magfield Accelerator and tanks and Hellions with Blue Flame. So, I mean, it's very strange. It's a very strange build. It's not quite Race Car Mech. It's not quite traditional mech. Is he going to force a cancel on this base of Scarlett? This is such a good play. This is such a good move out of Scarlett. Expanding a whole ton, but at the same time, it's nice for Special, too, to get in here and harass. Because that's one thing that meching Terran traditional meching Terran can't do, is harass. But you know what? This is kind of working out here. A bunch of Ravagers versus all of this should be fine. Couple drones go down, but no big deal. Corruptors need to chase this sucker down. That battlecruiser needs to get out, and needs to get out now. You need to force it to flee before it kills too many drones. Again, there's not any one attack here. Scarlett has lost a large number of drones. It's just been 2 or 3 here, but it's 12 total. 2 or 3 here adds up over time, and then suddenly you're not as economically healthy as you thought you were. Creep spread on the left side is looking pretty good. Creep spread on the right side is looking pretty good here, too, on Ephemeron. This is generally a tank setup area for Terran, so we'll see if Special can get there or not. He's got a bunch of tanks. Usually it's like a tank marine setup over on this side, but not today. Special is going for the more mobile mech, and the tanks are kind of staying home. Now he's moving the tanks out. Okay, this really feels like either an attack directly on this 4th base or on the 5th. Again, tank setup locations are nice, but if your opponent has a bunch of Ravagers, they can corrosive bile down your tanks no matter where they are. So it's just not as good. Man, race car mech, huh? See, tank down. That's the problem here. So the tank support is trying to make stuff happen. Blue Flame Hellions getting on into this base on the left side. Liberator set up on the right side, and Liberator on the left side going to go down with a couple drone kills to her name. And another base on the way from Special. He's trying to out-macro the Zerg here, and he's kind of really succeeding with it. To be honest with you. Greater Spire coming in from Scarlett. Broodlords, eh? I really am not a fan of Broodlords versus this style. It's just too fast. It can abuse the ever-loving crap out of Broodlords. I'm not sure Scarlett wants to commit up this ramp. It seems like a bad idea, but she is bringing some queens in for transfuses, possibly. Need some more creep spread is what you got to do. Spread more over this way so the queens are a little bit faster. We've got the Corruptors in case the battlecruiser decides to join the fight. But thus far, resources lost have been pretty even. Scarlett's lost a little bit more, which I think she's okay with. Battlecruiser coming back into town with his 10 kills. Try to get more of these drones here at Scarlett's 5th. Really super annoying battlecruiser today. Hellions, wrong place, wrong time. Several of them getting destroyed there. Again, Hellions are pretty much free for Special. They're mineral dumps. Where did the Corruptors head over that way? Ah, the Corruptors headed up this way, I imagine. Yes, to try to deal with the battlecruiser, and he just jumped on him. That is so mean. That is so mean. Ah, Queen down, out of Special. He's playing this so well, expanding again. for his 5th base. I mean, this is just going super well. All right, so the Broodlords can be fine as long as they're attacking a base. If the Broodlords are defending, they're hopelessly outspeeded. They're hopelessly too slow. So if you're going to go ahead of the Broodlords, yes, attack this 4th base. I mean, force Special to respond to it. He doesn't want to lose that, and then you can do a much better job with it. But if you're defending with Broodlords, then Special just hits you everywhere the Broodlords aren't, and then you're dead. So right side base from Scarlett coming up for a 6th. Blue Flame Hellions running in. There's a single Spine here and a couple Roaches. That should be enough. So the Broodlords, what's the answer here? Triple pumping Vikings. Trying to make that happen. There is a battle cruiser defending. What do you have to deal with this BC? It's a couple queens. I don't know about this from Scarlett. Transfusing, dropping Broodlords, or dropping Broodlings all over the stuff here. This planetary is being repaired by the power of 1,000,000 SCVs. They're repairing super hard. Trying to Corrosive down this thing, trying to get some of the SCVs in the meantime. But the battle cruiser just having a wonderful time killing these queens. The ground army killing the queens too. I don't think this is working. Okay, the base dies for Special. So that's a victory for Scarlett here. And a bunch of Roaches coming in here too. Holy smokes. Scarlett, if that base didn't go down, I think she was in a ton of trouble. But as it stands, it's 4-basing Special. With his 63 workers, he's making some Vikings now, which are going to be really hard for this ground army to deal with. So he's going to bring the Roaches in to try to buy some time for the Broodlords to get away to the creep. And maybe, I don't know, there we go. 12 Corruptors in production. So I'm going to go for some 12 Corruptors here. Ugh, tank killed. Army supply 110 to 63 is basically doubling up for Scarlett right now. She's creep spreading up this ramp. Scarlett lost the base. Again, the Broodlords in an aggressive position are very, very good. Very good, even against a very mobile army like this one is, and like Marine Marauder is. So here we go, coming in at a nice angle. Scarlett getting some Corrosive Vials down, and that's your good game. Scarlett wins it with the power of Broodlords, Queens, Ravagers, Roaches, Corruptors, you name it. It was a very, very diverse composition, kind of like what Special was going for there, too. So resources lost, end of the day, Special 15,000, Scarlett 12. Ends up losing a bunch of tanks here. 62 Hellions, 9 tanks. The battlecruiser dies. 4 Broodlords are dead, but there are still 6 in the sky. There's 18 Corruptors benefiting them as well. And then suddenly your Vikings don't look as good against the Broodlords as they should be. 53 SCVs killed, a planetary fortress. No hatcheries down is a big deal for Scarlett. And 23 drones killed. So that is a really nice 2-0 start here from Scarlett. Taking down, again, somebody I feel like is probably at large better, right? Better than, at least higher ranked than Scarlett as of the 2019 season. But, I don't know. Maybe 2020 is the year of Scarlett based on this performance. We'll have to wait and see. And, yeah, stick around. We have game number 3 coming up. Remember when I was like, hey, does Scarlett choose red every time? Nope, she's blue this time against Dim Rising here on Winter's Gate. Bottom right is the blue Zerg player Scarlett. Top left is the red Zerg player Dim Rising. All right, so it's going to be a ZVZ. I like ZVZ as long as it gets past the Roach Ravager stage and goes into, let's see here, Hydra, Lurker, Viper. That is exciting to me, but Lingbane Wars, they are so stressful to play, and I'm kind of tired of seeing them when I'm casting. And Roach Ravager, man, it just doesn't do damage nearly fast enough for me. All right, so pull first here from Scarlett. Hatch first here from Dim Rising at 16 supply. All right, man. Let's see if Dim Rising can give us a class on how to hold a pool first from another Zerg while you're going 16 hatch. It is possible. I know it is. I've seen it before. But I'm not sure I could do it. Bum-ba-dum. 4 Zerglings coming out. Oh, 6 Zerglings coming out. Yes, if you're going to go pool first, 6 Zerglings is the way to go. No gas either, so she's not worried about speed. So this is going to be these 6 Zerglings. Not a flood of Zerglings. Oh boy, Extractor pool. That was a late pool, man. That was like a 19 pool instead of a 17 pool. That might make all the difference here. Oh my gosh, and she's pulling the boys. Okay, well, this is problematic. She's bringing the drones. Man, this should be in the cheese compilation. Where was this? I guess that was from Home Story, but look at this. Not even worried about the Overlord that's seeing this coming. Dim Rising's like, oh. At this point, honestly, I just pull everything off gas. Yep, there we go. We don't need gas anymore. We need minerals. We need spines. We need to fight. We need as many drones as we can to fight against this. 2 more lings on the way. Forward spine crawlers. Yeah, we've seen people try to do this against Serral recently. And it didn't go well for them. But again, that was Serral. So the drones are fighting. And yeah, what you do is you come down here. You throw a spine up at your natural if you can. That is like all the difference in the world. And then this is just a straight up fight. And there are just too many lings. This is just, it's 16 workers, 14 workers, 13. Jim Rising is losing workers fast. Jim Rising is getting Zerglings out because he has the defender's advantage. Oh, he got trapped. He got trapped on the ramp, and that's your good game. Scarlett going 3-0 to start this series of hers. Hey, I did not do this on purpose, guys. I do not cast games based on what the end result is. I promise. I don't know. That was great. And again, I think the killer moment there was definitely, gosh dang it, back. Okay, so definitely when, whatever. It's when the lings that Jim Rising popped out. Again, those were important Zerglings. But when they got trapped on the ramp here, they all died without doing anything. And that was it. So Scarlett's early aggressive play totally pays off. I got to start doing this build. That was really impressive and so hard to hold. Again, Serral has done it. Serral managed to sneak a spine crawler down to the natural and mine from this base. And with that spine, it's so much easier to hold. But if you don't have a spine of your own, you're just fighting straight up against a higher ling count. It's just hard to do. It's really hard to pull off. And Jim Rising could not do it. Brutal. Brutal stuff there for him. But let's move into another game coming at you. We're back with Special. I figured we want to see another Special versus Scarlett game, just to make sure the first one wasn't a fluke. Top left-hand corner of Triton is the blue Terran player Special. And in the bottom right, it is Scarlett. And we are proxying, ladies and gentlemen. 1 SCV going out. 2 SCVs leaving the house. And this is one of those things. This is one of those games where Scarlett's going to go 16, 18, 17 and hope the Overlord sees something. Statistically, the odds of seeing something here are not very good. And I tell you, this kind of a build really crushes on lower level ladder too. A guy in my Discord server, Spike, he says that his build, his go-to build, which is like a 90% win rate in Zerg versus Terran at his level, or Terran versus Zerg specifically because he plays Terran, is basically this. Proxying the barracks, showing up with a couple bunkers, like right here, and then going into Mass Thor. And it's really hard for lower levels to deal with. I imagine Scarlett could handle such a thing easily. More easily, anyway, but hold on. What? No. Did she? No. She went, what? Back it up. Did she see an SCV? This Overlord saw nothing. She's already going pool first here. Ah! It is a build order crushing. I have not seen this in a while, ladies and gentlemen. Scarlett with some kind of spider sense went pool first for no reason. I guess, you know, it is viable if you want to mess with the command center coming up over here in a normal game. So this is just Scarlett's attempt at messing with Special and his command center, which he's trying to get up real fast that he doesn't scout for early lings for. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she doesn't know. She doesn't know this is here. She's just going for that build. So she's going to be fine. Oh my gosh. Poor Special. Just build order crushed there. Now, here's the thing. The SCV is going to come up and be like, hold on. Why is this hatchery not done yet? And be like, oh, this is a pool. Oh, well. Oh, it's even roaches. Oh my gosh, it's even roaches. Oh, that's so much worse for Special. Is that it's even roaches, which trades so well against Marines and SCVs when there are no upgrades involved. Oh my gosh. Okay, so don't lose these lings. Very nice. None of the lings die. Let's wait for the roach horn to come up. Scarlett's gonna be fine, guys. I don't know how else to express this. The bunkers are on the way. Sure. That's nice. I mean, Special is trying to make a go of this here, but roaches are in production now, and my goodness. I guess maybe if it's like 2 bunkers and they're all full of Marines and it's only like 3 roaches. Sure, I guess. And if anybody can make this work, it's going to be Special. Like, his proxying skills are legendary. But here's the thing. The roaches are here. That bunker back there can't hit this hatchery. This one will be able to. So we're going to Ravager this thing. Trying to... that second bunker doesn't finish. That's huge. Second bunker not finishing. That's massive. Oh, there's the cancel. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about here. This is just special. It's just build order bingo here, man. Build order paper, rock, scissors, whatever the kids want to call it these days. Yeah, salvaging the bunker. The Marines all die. I mean, oh, that's brutal. And then what do you have back home? Well, you try to get a tank out. But even that's not that great against Ravagers. And they try to bring the barracks home. And we've actually seen Maru beat Scarlett, entirely failing with the bunker. There we go, with a proxy. And then Maru wins anyway. But that's Maru. He's kind of a god. And I'm not entirely convinced that special is. So he just taps out. He done. He recognizes, even if I get a tank out, even if I have a bunker, there's going to be Ravagers here. And I won't have enough to buffer for the Ravagers. And everything's going to die. And that'll be all she wrote. So that, again, just sheer build order victory there from Scarlett. She didn't know. She didn't know. Oh, incredible. Incredible stuff. All right. Well, again, that's StarCraft sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men go awry because the other player just did something blindly that totally kills you. Man, let this be a lesson to everybody. All right. That's a real short game there for game number 4. So we'll do some more. We've got some more Scarlett here in the pipe. Don't go anywhere. All right, I want a long macro game. Can we get one of those real quick, please? All right, we're on Disco Bloodbath. It's going to be Scarlett versus Nice. Once again, it's going to be a rematch. Left side of the map, it is the red Zerg player, Scarlett. Right side is the blue Protoss, Nice. Okay, so, I mean, I understand where Nice is coming from here. You really don't want to go late game with a Zerg player, especially when as good as Scarlett is. But, like, at the same time, don't get your Warp Prism scouted when it's moving across, because then the Zerg player knows exactly what's up. I mean, at the very least, knows to make some roaches and Ravagers, which you don't want to have to deal with. So, at the very least, it's not a cannon rush. So I will thank my lucky stars for that. Although, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing a cannon rush. Those are pretty fun. I wonder if Nice has learned any lessons from Haz, a teammate of his, as to how to cannon rush and cheese the crap out of a Zerg player. But that's definitely a gateway here from Nice. And Scarlett going for the old 16, 18, 17. Again, you do not deviate from the plan if you're Zerg right now. The current meta necessitates you do not deviate from the plan. And even if somebody proxies you, sometimes you can just win anyway. I mean, Scarlett deviated from the plan in the last game. In fairness, she did. So it's cool. Anyway, but if you want to watch me cast live StarCraft with players like Innovation and Rogue, please check out the link in the description. It's africaworld.com/laughingames. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Falcon Paladin, and you will see announcements as to when. That's a fake out. Is that a forge? That is a forge. Holy, delayed cannon rush. As to when exactly I'll be doing that. So please check it. And yeah, this is really nicely done from Nice. Oh boy. I mean, this drone's thinking about going for a third. Maybe you don't want to be doing that just quite yet. There are cannons coming up, ladies and gents, and that pool is nowhere near done. So you cancel the hatch, you bring everybody back home. And then basically you make a spine here and you shut this sucker down. Is he seriously? All right, man. He's throwing up a cannon right there. So he's got one pylon and 2 cannons. He canceled, so got some good refunds actually on his buildings. Block here. Scarlett is forced to take her natural clear at the 12 o'clock position, which is really far away. This drone's going to join the party somewhere. I'm not sure what he's up to exactly. But Speedling's coming in. That cannon gets canceled. This one actually finishes just to be annoying. I mean, at this point, I think Nice is ahead. I gotta say, if Nice throws up an expansion here, he's kind of got it made. Oh, Scarlett. Nice is being annoying. Nice is getting tips from Haz. Holy crap, this is incredible stuff. Cancels when the drone leaves. That block is real. Scarlett. Oh, Scarlett. There's the expansion from Nice. I'm loving this. I love this out of Nice. Scarlett's not panicking, though. I would have made like 100 lings and then just gone and rushed this front door and tried to win. Just out of sheer frustration. But she's like, you know what? I'll get a third base. Sure, it's late, so what? Ling's coming down the ramp, and actually the Queen absorbing some of those early shots, so the Lings can get free. That was great. That was excellent work there from Scarlett. And then the Adept shows up, goes for the Scout, just really trying to see if there's a lair or not, and there's not, so that's good information to have. Really just 3-basing it, and for all the shenanigans, I kind of feel like we're just at a regular game now. Right? Like, Scarlett's third base is coming up, while the natural base for Nice is on the way. Drone count is 25 drones to 24 probes. Pretty even, which is actually not good. At this point, Scarlett should be down, but she's not really doing much by way of building tech or anything, so I don't know. Met Queen comes up, gets some shots off on the Adept. She shades over this way and gets surrounded by Speedlings and dies. I mean, Scarlett, at this point, maybe to be cheeky, would just take her natural, too, and just be 4-basing it before really anything else. Oracle shows up. If the Oracle lives, I'll name it. Nope. I had a name ready to go, but Oracle died way too fast. Zergling's trying to get in, and again, Scarlett just not panicked. Scarlett has been in this boat for some time. Yes, she wasn't quite ready for the Oracle. She had a Spore up, which is all that really matters. But this base didn't have a Spore, and neither did this one. So if the Oracle had gone to different bases, it could have been a much different outcome for Scarlett. Again, sometimes that's all that really matters, is getting lucky sometimes, you know? I mean, everybody does it. I'm not saying in particular this is Scarlett being luckier than anybody else. It's just how the game goes. So Spores are here, Queens are here, spreading creep down this way, and honestly, a fourth base would be awesome, but Nice is refusing to take a third, so doesn't make a lot of sense for her to do that. A couple drones die. Oracle taking some serious shots, though. And Queen, oh gosh. Okay, all right, it's fine. 13 HP, no big deal. We're fine. Is it more? Is this Mass Oracle? Is Nice following this up with a Mass Oracle play? This is a lot of gas and really not that much mineral income to be anything else at this point. Who goes Mass Oracle in this day and age? Nobody does. Not even Haz does it anymore. I remember Haz doing it like 2 years ago, maybe more, and taking names with it, like just crushing Zergs, because the damage output from the Oracles and the type they did was really high, and buildings kind of melted to them. So they nerfed that. So the pulsar beam damage isn't as good to buildings as it used to be, which is kind of the key to, you know, burning down things like entire hatcheries and spores. So they can't do that as well anymore. Spores are a lot more effective in this matchup. That's what I'm talking about. Spore, man. Serious business. And once you see this many, you just start pumping queens, man. Queens, 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 queens. Maybe a couple extra spores. One here, one somewhere else. Adept rolls in, finishes the transfer. For some reason, she's going to die here. That transfuse on a drone was tight. And another Adept dies. So not doing a fantastic job with it. With the Ewoks having a party here. Drumming on the head of, I think, of a Death Trooper, if I had to guess what that is. Not a Stormtrooper, Death Trooper. Definitely Ewoks. I don't know how Disney hasn't shut this down yet, to be honest with you, here on Disco Bloodbath. It's a very weird thing. Third base from Nice is attempted, but the Zerglings show up right in the nick of time and shut that down, and then the Oracles show up, and the Lings are like, yo, no, we're not going to stick around anyway. Don't mind us. Another Spore is on the way, because this is definitely a lot of Oracles and a couple of Warp Gates. So it's going to be like an Adept Oracle style play. I don't know. Scarlett's on 4 bases, and Nice is on, well, just now starting his third. So it could be worse, but guess who's coming back? 3 Adepts packing themselves in between 2 pylons and a mineral line. Going to be hard for the Lings to kill that. They probably really shouldn't even try. Overseer cruises in and see what's up. Well, it's not going to be like 5 Stargates at the very least, but this is a lot, man. This is a lot of Oracles. And suddenly Queens die real fast. And again, the Spores are the big deal here. Really don't want to stand in and fight against Spores too much. The additional Queens show up, and I think that was a fine exchange for Scarlett. She ends up losing a couple Queens and a couple drones, and overall it's been 2 Queens and 14 drones that have been killed. But Scarlett's still up 74 to 49 workers because a 4-basing Zerg is abjectly terrifying. And this might be our long macro game, but at the same time, I kind of feel like Scarlett is just going to get up to a point where everything dies for Nice. Because the economy discrepancy is huge. And at this point, she can defend well enough with the Queens and the Lings, especially if she's active with the Lings and seeing what's going on, that she really doesn't have to make an army at this stage. But she is going for Hydras. Oh boy, and a Nidus network too. Alright, so if you Nidus a bunch of Hydras in, I think Nice just taps out. The Oracles can't trade with that. I mean, especially if you bring your Queens along, the Oracles are just like, no, not happening. Again, the Oracles are being controlled pretty well. I'm liking some of the players from Taiwan these days. I really do. There's another one called But Always, who's a young Protoss player who's just really nice. Really has some nice foundational mechanics. He's good with carriers, which is not, I mean, not something a lot of Protoss players like to say, or can say. But Always is a nice dude, and I like nice here too. So this is just Mass Oracle. I mean, I don't... How are we doing Mass Oracle here today, you ask? Well, like this. Oh my gosh, they're going to get the Nidus network. Okay. Well, that's an obstacle to your plan, isn't it? Queens are like, get out of the neighborhood. Oh gosh, Hydras in small numbers, bad. You need big numbers of Hydras to handle this many Oracles or that many Phoenix or anything that can shoot up. Going after more of these drones. Nice has a plan, and he is executing this plan pretty effectively, if you ask me. That said, again, Scarlett has been allowed to be on 4 bases. I mean, Nice is getting a 4th base of his own, so that's cool. And you don't want to walk the Hydras across the map here. You really wanted that Nidus network, so another one's on the way. And it is being built somewhere. Where, though? Ah, it finished. Nidus network. Oh, it's here. It was like right next to where the one that died is. Strangely enough, I kind of feel like the Oracles could dart in there and get some stuff done again, but he's getting a Nidus over this way. So Scarlett's throwing up a Nidus Worm over by her, what is technically her natural base, as in her 2nd base, but in like a 4th base location, because that's how stupid and crazy this game has been. That's a cancel on missile weapons level 2. Pretty good there. That Nidus Worm is going to come up just outside of the range of this 3rd base. A bunch of cannons. Emergency cannons coming up. When there are a million Hydras coming, good luck with that, I say. So that Nidus Worm dies. These Hydras are going to die. That Spore, look how long it takes for all of these Oracles to kill a Spore. It is not very long. Well, it is longer than you'd expect from an entire bajillion of these Oracles. And by that I mean 19. It's officially a bajillion. So you let the emergency cannons come up. Revelation tossed down. Hydras do not care about your cannons. They will destroy them with merciless just afterthoughts here. So the Oracles are trying to deal with this, and the probes too, but man, what did I say about Mass Hydra just showing up and ruining your day? It's not cost efficient is what it's not here. Nice is winning, but he lost 19 probes, and he's down to 11 Oracles, which is bad. Does he have enough energy on some of these Oracles to actually take down this Nidus Worm? That'd be nice if they did, but I think they're just going to let it finish, which seems like a problem. Wait, no, hold on. Is it bait? He's going to let the Zealots try to handle it, which, you know what? I think they sort of can. All right, they got it. Hydra's back over, replenished, coming into the 3rd base again. And again, cannons will buy you a tiny amount of time against Hydras, like the tiniest amount of time against Hydras. Meanwhile, Nidus Worm coming up inside the main base of Nice because of all the chaos that's been happening elsewhere. Another Nidus Worm. I mean, we're just dead, right? We're done. That's it. Nidus Worm dies. Oracles have to stand and fight because otherwise everybody's dead. The Hydras are trading so well. They're just some of the best anti-air in the game. Not as good as, you know, Marines, but still pretty good nevertheless. And the 3rd base is going to die. This is just too many Hydra. They're getting the +2 missile attack, which again was delayed by Nice, which was a good deal. But creeps spreading over this way. Nidus Worms are here. 3rd base is down. They're still dealing with another Nidus Worm coming up inside the main. The Oracles are forced to save their energy for other stuff. And it's just 170 to 128 supply. Look at the supply, as Todd would say. And I think we're done. We're done. That's it, man. Nice is 3 basing. A 5th base is on the way from Scarlett. Nice is down to 64 workers after losing a whole bunch of probes, including 31 in total. And this Hydra Queen count with the plus... I mean, they don't have the +2 yet. It's almost there. I don't know if it even really matters here. Probes are trying to fight. Nope, that's your good game. Scarlett takes it, and by golly, goes 5-0 thus far in this series. Are you kidding me? Oh, amazing. Amazing stuff. All right. Well, woo! What a game. I don't know what else to say here. 15,000 to 14,000 resources lost. You're like, that's not too bad. But when you think about the fact that Nice's economy is in shambles at 50 workers and the oracles trade extremely poorly against Mass Hydra with +2 attack. +2 attack wasn't even in this game. It didn't matter in the end. If +2 attack had been done, this game would have been over like 3 minutes ago is how this works. So that's how you deal with Mass Oracle is Queens and Spores and try to get up to Hydras as fast as you can and make a whole bunch of Hydralisks and get +2 attack and Nidus, and then suddenly the Protoss dies. That's how everything works. All right. Well, let's continue on. I think we can do 2 more. Probably have time for 2 more today anyway. Stick with it. Don't go anywhere. More Falcon coming at you. All right. Had to cast this game. It's going to be Scarlett as Protoss and Ryu from Italy as Zerg on Thunderbird, the latter edition. Bottom right-hand corner is the green Zerg player, Ryu. And in the top left, it is the red Protoss player, Scarlett. She does this sometimes. And holy smokes, her Protoss is incredible. All right, Ryu, you're in for something. Hope you can handle it. I think I need to put something in the title or maybe in the thumbnail about Scarlett playing Protoss because this is sort of rare, right? Anyway, 16 hatch here from Ryu. Gateway expand here from Scarlett. Man, that is going to take a little bit of getting used to. She's been Zerg for 5 games in this compilation, but anyway. Hatch gas pool. Ryu knows the 16, 18, 17 build very well, as all Zergs do now today. And saving up for a Nexus. Here is Scarlett, and the timing is perfect. That was great. All right, so now we have Cybercore, Assimilator, Pylon, or perhaps Pylon Assimilator. I don't think it really matters a whole lot or tells us much about what's going on. So there's the Scout, and then Scarlett's going to throw another probe up here because she doesn't want to get supply blocked. There's your Assimilator. And then there's a Pylon too, when she can afford it. Yeah, the timings really work out here. And there's the Pylon. So incredibly standard openings. I'm sorry for those of you who are colorblind, but at least it's not a ZVZ that's red-green. Because red-green colorblindness is totally a thing. Let's see what Ryu does here. Does he go for the double? He does. He goes for the double queen and then speed. The green with the green here is kind of nice on the spawning pool. With the mech skin too. I just like that combo. Green on green with the mech skin. Beautiful. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, atrocious. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like 12:30 in the morning when I'm casting because that was my day today. It was nuts. I tell you, I cast 2 hours on Twitch, did some Witcher 3 questing, and then I cast for 4 hours on YouTube because I'm an insane person, and it was a crazy day. It was basically 6 hours of work, and now I'm doing this after my kids are asleep. It's been exciting. We'll give it that. I do it for the love, though. I do it for the love of StarCraft. If I didn't love it and I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it, guys. Every once in a while, somebody's like, hey, Falcon, don't burn yourself out, man. Don't do it just because you do it. Look, yes, I understand that. If I didn't have a true love of this, I would have stopped a long time ago. The channel didn't grow as fast as I want it to. Honestly, I probably have higher expectations for it than are reasonable. But I would have been discouraged a long time ago and just stopped if I was doing this for the sake of just having a huge channel, right? It's just not my motivation here. I'm doing this because I love it. I'm doing this because I love StarCraft, and I love StarCraft since 1998, which is over half of my life right now. I've had it in my life, and I want to bring the love of StarCraft to other people, and that's all there is to it. It's not fancy. It's really not complicated either. Do I have an Oracle name? I certainly do. This Oracle's name and Oracle friend name is Vasya Pupkin. He learned to fly without any interest, but somehow he managed to get there in game to pleasure YouTube viewers. Feeling feeling like that's in English as a second language name. Unless the intent there was truly that the Oracle's here to pleasure YouTube viewers, which has a bit of a different connotation than entertain YouTube viewers. But again, only like 20% of my viewers come from the US, so like, who am I to say who's watching these anymore? Native English speakers? Most of you aren't, I'm pretty sure, if those numbers are accurate. So anyway, I hope you're maybe learning a little bit of English from watching my streams and my casts. But the Spore's a little bit late. As a result, a couple drones die. Spore inside the main base does exist. Oracle decides to juke out. Vasya gonna escape with his life. Maybe killing a couple Lings would be worth the energy there, but nah, decides not to. So Scarlett going for a quick third base here on Thunderbird because you can. Because all I gotta do is worry about this one ramp and you get 3 bases for free. And as a Zerg player, I kind of hate that, but whatever, it's fine. Let's take a 4th Ryu. We're going to macro this thing. This might be the last game if it's long enough. And it's Scarlett as Protoss. It really would be a really nice end state for this compilation today. But yeah, hit the like button if you'd enjoyed it so far. Again, YouTube algorithms. That's all it is. Resonating Glaive's Adept Attack from Scarlett, though. All right, she knows what she hates as Zerg. She'll bring what she hates directly to the Zerg's face. Oh, the wall off, though. Oh, the wall off is so good! Can you get through this? I mean, you're going to finish, right? You're going to finish the transfer and try to kill these buildings with Resonating Glaives. No Resonating Glaives yet. Oh, that's a problem. So actually cancel to get the Lings out, get some early shots off. Some Roaches are in production. That was fantastic from Ryu. Gosu maneuver there, my guy. Loving that. So 3 Evolution Chambers are up, which is fine. And then the wall again. Just keeping Scarlett at bay until a bunch of Roaches show up. This is super good. This is great play from Ryu, and it really only works on this map where you can wall off your 3 bases, right? Other maps, no. You can't wall off because then your 3rd base just dies. But as it stands, this wall is very nice. Nobody ever brings workers down to get through this. So I've seen it like twice, right? It's usually Zerg. They bring some drones down. They bring speedlings in. The 3rd base dies. But I've never seen it done against Zerg under any circumstances. Scarlett's like, I made a bunch of Resonating Glaive Adepts for nothing. I feel horrible. So let's make some Immortals. Let's make some additional gateways. Let's go ahead and make sure we have, 60 probes at 6 minutes. I feel better about myself then. 4th base here for Ryu. And again, this is not wallable. So the 4th base going to be fairly open and vulnerable to these Resonating Glaive Adepts. But there are a bunch of Roaches. With more Roaches on the way. With Clear Reconstitution just about finishing here too. So, I mean... Oh, man, that Roach just went out to see what's what, and we basically have Sentries and Adepts here. A bit of an unorthodox composition, which is going to necessitate Ravagers, which Ryu is going for. I almost said Scarlett because the Zerg player is here, and it's not Scarlett, though, it's Ryu. +1 melee attack coming in. Interesting stuff here. Is that a Changeling? What does Ryu have a Changeling in his own base? Don't understand that at all. But, I mean, Ryu's holding on. Ryu's at 68, 70 workers, got a 4th base ready to pop. Got Roaches and Ravagers to deal with his Adept Sentry Immortal thing, and that's exactly what you need. He's responding perfectly to this. God, this is great. This is good ZVP action. All right, Scarlett fans. Are you rooting for her when she's Protoss? Or are you a bigger Zerg fan, and you're just happy there's a great Zerg player like Scarlett out there? I imagine that's split. That question has some split answers to it. Hallucinated Phoenix. Hard to kill. Therefore, really good scouters, right? Like, no Hive yet. Cool. Spire gets started as soon as the Phoenix are away. So that's pretty good stuff. We're going Broodlord. Broodlord would absolutely wreck this composition. And if Scarlett doesn't... Well, I mean, we're so far away from Broodlord, though, right? Just now starting your Spire means you're like 18 minutes away from Broodlords. So Scarlett has some time to scout this and respond to it. The question is, will she? She's got a 4th base coming up. She's getting Storm because she knows that Storm is stupidly good against Zerg. Got a bunch of Banelings, though. This Roach Ravager Baneling style? I don't know, Scarlett. I'm worried here. The Roaches and Ravagers have +1 attack. The Lings and Banelings have +1 attack. The force fields have got to be godlike in this engagement. Like, stupidly really good. Storm is not done. I'm not sure if Ryu knows that Storm isn't done yet. If he knows Storm isn't done, he feels better about this. Gonna try to take down this 4th Nexus, and I'm not sure Scarlett can save it. The force fields are good. Oh, there you go. Beautiful force fields. Oh, the corrosive vials, though. The corrosive vial versus force field. Battles are real. Don't chase. Don't. All right, well, chasing. Taking down the sentries real nice. Immortals getting destroyed by banelings just at the sheer number that there are. That base goes down. Scarlett ends up losing her 4th. Immortals fighting here, doing all right. Storm finally finishes up for Scarlett. She says, thank you for that. But it might just be time to get on out of here, honestly, at this stage. Army supply is 60 to 60, which is not where you want to be if you're Ryu. Corrosive Vial is actually maybe hitting some of those zealots. I don't know. This counterattack, though, looking pretty scary from Scarlett all of a sudden. She lost her base. She's trying to replant it. Does Ryu have enough to hold on? He's got a ton of banelings. Working on +2 melee, which allows them to one-shot probes, which is a really nice thing to do for baneling drops. Well, I don't think we're working on that, though, at this point. Just kind of trying not to die. Archons in the mix really do super well against banelings. Not so well against the Ravagers or the Roaches, though. So the trick is getting the banelings to explode on things like Zealots and Sentries. And even Stalkers, to some level. You don't want them to explode on Archons, because I think it's about 18 banelings to kill an Archon. It's not really cost-efficient at all. How do these lings... What is happening? Where do these lings come from? Alright, well, there's lings. Getting 5 probes before they die, which is fine. Ryu's getting a 5th base now. Scarlett's 4th is about 60% complete. This is turning into more of a macro style. Trying to bait some storms out, I think. If you want to use storms out here, that's better than using storms out here. Sneaking in some zealots, though. Scarlett knows how much that sucks. Honestly, for Terran and Zerg alone, they hate this. So behold the charge lots inside your main base, forcing you to go home. And then you attack at the front, and it's really hard to deal with both simultaneously, and it sucks. And Ryu's doing a pretty good job splitting up his army to send some to deal with these guys. We're going after the spawning pool, by the way, and then enough back home to deal with his front and this posturing by Scarlett. So not bad. Queen's going to force the Warp Prism away. I mean, are they just going to unload over here? They might just do that. I don't know. Scarlett really dancing at the front, though. Like, really dancing. Zealots doing more work. How many drones have they killed? 16 drones have gone down, so it's not like it's been a super massacre. And the hatch stayed alive, which is nice. But the gas income is 0 right now from the main base for Ryu, which is bad. Again, changelings with his army. I mean, I understand if you try... Oh, is he going Dropper Lord? No, that's not Drop. For a second, I thought that was Dropper Lord. It's not. We're cool. We are totally cool. Archon dropping over this way is an interesting play, too. Oh, boy. Lings from Ryu just going after some of these probes. Whatever they can find, they'll take. His Lings all getting messed up on this Zealot pathing, and they're all going to die, which is unfortunate. But army supply pretty even at this stage. Oh, Scarlett decides I have 1 million Immortals and absolutely no force fields. And there are Broodlords. Remember how I was like Broodlords are 10 minutes away? Oh, it's been a while, and the Broodlords are here, and suddenly Scarlett's like, oh crap, Broodlords. I can't deal with the Broodlords with Archons and Zealots and Immortals especially, maybe with Storm. One Corruptor is living to chase this Warp Prism about and chase it away. Yeah, but this is bad. This is really bad for Scarlett all of a sudden. The Broodlords are a reason to retreat. Without question. They do not want to stick around. Got some Zealots coming up this way. Zergling scouts that action. So it really shouldn't get a whole lot done. I mean, the creep spread isn't incredible here from Ryu, but... Ah, that hatch is gonna die. Nah, Ryu didn't. Oh, he did. He sent some roaches over. With the +2 attack, mind you. They got +2 attack and the Glio Reconstitution. The Zealots have +2 attack and charge. But all the Zealots are going to die. They're just severely outnumbered here. And a lot of these roaches not even doing anything for some reason. I'm not sure what that was. So let the Broodlords show up. Scarlett is now working on Tempests because she's able to get there pretty well with the current tech structure that she had. Army trying to sneak around this way where the Broodlords are not. But surprise, the roaches see him coming. But the Immortals say, surprise, you roaches are all dead. So the Broodlords are going to push on this base while the rest of the army is going to come back and try to deal with Scarlett's ground army, which is honestly a nice move by her. Ah, the Broodlords are coming back too. So right side base by Ryu is toast. There's no saving it at all. That's not good. He needs to replace that base immediately. He has the resources for it. There we go. This is what you want to do down here at the south. Taking down a single immortal, but again, sacrificing immortals is fine because they're not that super useful against the current composition we have anyway. I mean, against the roaches, sure. This is a good game. This is turning into a great game. Scarlett's taking a 5th base at the 12 o'clock. Army supply 126 to 116. Ryu has a lead, but it's not much of one. And at 65 to 66 workers, Scarlett has an equal worker count here. And has the Tempest to try to deal with these Broodlords. I don't see any spellcasters here for Ryu. Which, you want Vipers, you want Infestors, you want something to augment this army. If you're just trying to go Broodlord, like Baneling Ravager, I just don't see this being a good time. In my professional opinion. I mean, the High Templar are trying to get in here. Finally, one gets a Storm off, but he also dies. So, like, one Storm for an entire High Templar is probably not worth it. Zealot's coming the long way around down this right side here. And trying to just storm all the things. A couple Tempests go down to a combination of Corruptors and Corrosive Bile. These Broodlords in the front are absorbing some serious hits from these Tempests, though. Going down, going down. Archon's trying to get direct hits on these Broodlords, too. This is really nicely done by Scarlett. The Broodlords are getting some serious value. Or the Corruptors are, and the Broodlords are, too, though. Zealot's coming in, trying to run away, but Banelings on creep are so fast. The Immortal count is heavy right now. The Broodlords are trying to get in here. The Storm is real. These Immortals are just wrecking that ground army. The Broodlords are not in a position to help. There aren't any left, actually. According to this units tab here, and Scarlett's on a bit of a rampage right now. These Immortals just, I mean, a lot of these kills are Broodlings. It kind of inflates the numbers, but 15, 16, 13. Broodlords are expensive. The Tempests are all dead. The Broodlord trying to find an area in which she can abuse the high ground. I'm not sure why I assume Broodlords are she's, but whatever, it's cool. And yeah, Army supply 99 to 36. That's your good game. Scarlett ends up going 6-0 in today's Scarlett composition for your Sunday series. Holy smokes. What an impressive performance. Taking down Special twice. Nice twice. Ryu. I mean, beating Jim Rising. These are decent names. These are good names in the world. In the StarCraft universe. So, boy, howdy. And that was looking bad for her in that game, too. There were the Broodlords. You got the Tempest out in time. They were doing some good work. Taking down that 5th base by Ryu was a big deal. For sure. Never losing... Actually did lose the 4th base of her own, but recovered quite nicely, too. So, really nice back and forth game at the end of the day there. But Scarlett gets the win. Ends up losing 20,000 resources to 29,000 for Ryu. 12 Broodlords died. Again, and spellcasters. I know what I'm talking about because, well, you know, I don't like to use spellcasters all that much. I need to learn how to do so more, though. But just honestly, any game against Protoss, Zerg looks overpowered if they have Vipers and Infestors. If they don't have either of those things, they kind of look terrible. They do. They look bad. And I mean, that maybe not fair to say, but it's the truth. So that's the difference. So nicely done there by Scarlett getting the win. Ryu needs to work on spellcasters in some capacity, but, you know, it's still a good win regardless as Protoss against a professional Zerg. Like, she's scary. Scarlett is a scary, scary player. Her Protoss is great. Really good. All right, so that's going to be it for my Scarlett compilation for your Sunday series today. Hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you did. You can also catch me and find me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.